Today I'll be teaching you guys about the different types of proxies there are and how to purchase, generate, and implement proxies into a bot. The proxy company I'll be showing today are Black Cat and Leaf Proxies. So first, let's talk about what are a proxy. A proxy is a server between two devices which then mask your IP address with the proxy. Your IP address is a number that identifies your device on the internet. A website will generally detect a bot after a couple requests or tasks coming from the same IP address at once. With the use of a proxy, it looks like each request is coming from a different person or a device. If they see too many requests coming from one IP, they may temporarily or permanently ban you on that website. So I'm gonna come over here and show you guys how proxies actually work. So over here, you have your computer. And on your computer, you have your bot. Okay, that's your bot. Now over here, you have the website that you're trying to bot. Let's just say it's Supreme. And in the middle, you have the proxy. We're just going to use a square as an example. So usually, if you're running a bot without proxies, it's going to work like this. So you made a task and you're trying to send a request to get on the website. If you send too many requests from not using a proxy, so if you have more than, let's say, 5 tasks with no proxy, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then Supreme's going to be like, hey, that's too many requests, we're going to start banning you. So that's all your tasks are going to receive a message saying, hey, Supreme doesn't like that you're sending too many requests, you're banned from the website. To avoid this, you would either pick a few tasks as localhost, so maybe like 2 or 3 for foot sites. For Supreme, they allow like up to like 15. But when you use a proxy, this is how it works. So you have one task using one proxy, residential proxy, goes through the proxy, changes your IP address, not changes, but like mask it. So then it goes to Supreme with that IP address of the proxy and say, hey, this is a completely different device, can I access your site? Supreme will say, yeah, you're someone else. And then if you want another task with a different kind of proxy, and then another request, but that has a different, but then that proxy has a different IP address sort of. So it'd be like, hey, so Supreme will be like, hey, this and this request are both different devices or person or people, and Supreme will allow it. So if you want so each box is a proxy. If I want another one for Supreme, I'll just add another box and then another request. And then if Supreme is like, hey, I don't like this proxy, it's an invalid proxy or a bad proxy, they'll ban just that task. But then these two, if they're still valid, they'll still be allowed to access Supreme or keep running your task. You also can run a few localhosts like straight from your IP address, but I only recommend running like 3 to 6 on foot sites, and Shopify like 2 to 5. But with Supreme you can run like 15, but if one gets banned, then they all will start getting banned. They'll all not work. I recommend using a 1-to-1 ratio, as in 1 task to 1 proxy. If you're running residential, I just generate 2,000 proxies, so it'll be 2,000 boxes in here, and then you can do 2,000 tasks or 1,000 tasks if you want to do a 1-to-2 ratio, task to proxy ratio. So then it'll be 1,000 tasks going to Supreme, but usually you wouldn't do 1,000, you do like 200 max. It just depends on how comfortable you are with botting, and if you have one clicks farmed and other stuff we're just not going to go about. Not going to go into for today. So this is basically the general understanding of how a proxy works. And different types of proxies are residential, data center, and ISP, with each serving a different purpose. For beginners, it is fine to start out with just a residential plan, then eventually get like a small ISP or DC plan to go along with it. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Leaf Proxies website, go to residential, click residential plan. And I'm gonna just talk about how residential are. Residential proxy are actually they're known as resis. They go through a real physical device but tend to have slower speeds compared to ISPs and DC proxies. Residential proxies are purchased in gigabytes, 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabyte, 4 gigabytes. Each proxy is ranged from $5 to 30 per gigabyte, but that just depends on which proxy company that you purchase from, or like the quality of the proxies. For example, if you buy 2 gigabytes, you can generate as many proxies as you want on the website's dashboard, but your data is only used when the proxies are being used, so when testing or running tasks. Once the 2 gigabytes are up, you'd have to top up or buy more to continue generating and using the proxies. Now we're going to go to data center proxy plans. I recommend using ISPS and ISPC, but I go with ISPS. ISPs often have fast speeds and typically the same as DC proxies, but have higher quality and less likely to be banned. These are routed from an internet service provider like Sprint, Comcast, and Verizon, but these are generally more expensive. They're also sold in lists of 25. 25 ISP can cost from a range of $40 to $100, but it just depends on the provider. Normally good ISP proxies do sell out fast, so you have to catch them on a restock. So like these are all out of stock, and in the Leaf Discord they'll announce when they're restocking, when and where. For your data center proxies, are also known as DC proxies, these are the way to go when speed is the key. These are purchased as in list, generally in increments of 25 that normally gets emailed to you. So these ISPs and DC proxies, they wouldn't be generated, they will be sent to you as in a list, and those lists cannot be regenerated in the time that you bought. So if you buy 100 monthly ISPs and those 100 ISPs get emailed to you, those are your ISPs for the month. You cannot regenerate the same ISPs. 25 DC proxies can cost from $15 to $70 depending on the quality and the source of purchase. DC proxies can last either 24 hours, 1 week, or 30 days depending on the plan that you purchased. So back to residential proxies. Once you bought a residential proxy plan, you'll be sent to your proxy dashboard. Up here is where it will show your used data and how much you have left. Right now, I used up all my data, so I'm not allowed to generate any more. Down here is the proxy pool. I recommend using IP auth and user pass. Here is where you'll actually add your IP address. It takes around 30 minutes to actually confirm your IP and like you're allowed. Then once you click a proxy pool, you'll come over to a country, or if you go to IP auth, you do store country. Let's just do Shopify. I just do select all or a couple. So select all. For Leaf, you can only generate 500 max at a time, but after you generated, there will be a list here. You just copy that list, add it into your bot, and then come back and generate more. And that's about it for your dashboard. There's other stuff where user pass 3, recommended America, and Ace Force. Those are also good. But that's about it for your dashboard. Fairly simple. I'm coming over to Black Hat proxies and actually generate the proxies. So for proxy quantity, I'm gonna go 2000. The proxy type, always do sticky. Never do rotating or dynamic. Always do sticky. Store country, just do Footlocker. Here you pick the store country that you're trying to bot. So Footlocker. And then once you I have everything correct. Proxies to generate 2000 sticky footlocker. Click generate, and then down here is the list of all your proxies that you just generated. All of these are Resi proxies. For data center, it'll be emailed to you like I said. So once you have all your Resi proxies, copy. It is now copied to your clipboard. Come down to your bot. Come over here, click add proxies. Since you copied the proxies to your clipboard, all you have to do is Control V. You now added your proxies into your bot, click add, and here are all the proxies that you just generated. 2000, 2000. And for what you can do, for some bots, you can test them in bot. All these are going to be unexpected error because I ran out of gigabytes. If I wanted to fix these, I'd have to buy more gigabytes and then generate more proxies. Once you run out of gigabytes and you want to top up, you have to generate new lists depending on the store. Down here you can test all your proxies at once, your whole list. I really recommend not to do this. Only test a few at a time. There's no need to test your whole list. You can also switch a site to test, but it's just for Cyber and for other bots. I don't know if I said this in the other video, but when you make a task and you select your proxies, each proxy will be distributed in the amount of tasks that you're gonna create. So if I have 100 tasks that I want and create 100 tasks, all the residential proxies will be sorted out within the tasks automatically with every single bot. It's just how it works. To have like a proxy tester, there are Folian and Leaf proxies. I'm gonna go with Leaf proxies just to show you how it is. So I'm gonna import my list. Since I copied it to my clipboard, all I have to do is Control V. Then all my proxies I generated are now here. Click import, and then it's gonna pop up all right here. To test a single one, you just press test. Status is gonna be unexpected error or error or timed out. See, or an X. That's just how Leaf proxies is. It's just an X because it doesn't work. To trash a single proxy, you can just trash. To clear all, just clear all. Group it, enter group name, test, press save. First you have to add your proxies. Import, group, test, save. You now have a group of proxies that you can either import, delete, or copy. That's about it for proxies. I think I explained it fairly simple, sort of. But if you guys have any questions, just let me know. DM me on Discord or leave a comment, whatever works for you guys. Discord name is Topher2616. And thank you guys for watching. I'll try to make these videos a little better each time. But I hope you all have a good day. Goodbye.